G'day and welcome to the GameFace footy show for the Southern Football Netball League Division 3, the best league as far as I'm concerned, because there's two of you on the panel. I'll say that while they're here. My name is Russell Robinson. Can't wait to crack into this one. Some top stories for you to go straight away before I introduce the panel. We have Hampton Park destroyed, absolutely destroying Blackrock. These boys will tell you all about it in a minute. Ashwood bounced back against Cerberus. Clayton outclassed by Endeavour Hills, and our special guest is Michael with a very special nickname, Lazzy. He's in studio. This is Studio 1, where all the action goes down at GameFace HQ. Wilbur, firstly, how are you, pal?
Very well, mate, and good to see you, as always.
As always, mate. Now, why don't you introduce our panel? Well, actually, let's get Jacko, our main man over there, who does everything and knows everything to do with
Bit
division.
of the forgotten man today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Rightly so.
We've got a superstar in the middle, and Jacko, a superstar himself, is going to introduce his main man. His nickname is
Shitlips.
Thank
Welcome.
you.
Good to have Lane on the show.
Great to be here, gentlemen. Thank you very much for having me on.
It is Shitlips, one of the great nicknames.
It is an absolute beauty.
I think we spoke about it on the show.
We have.
We come up. Talk to us about how it all came about. Or actually,
Will's probably the man to talk about. I mean, Will at the media day mentioned it. Laz was in front of the camera, and it's sort of gone from there.
Yeah, well, we've been running our media day since we have at a few clubs. And this fine-looking gentleman popped in front of the camera in his Hampton Park jumper, and the first one we run off the player profile questions: your name, your age, your height, your position, that sort of stuff. Nickname is a key one, and he's just turned around and just gone, "Yeah, Laz." Pause, I look for the next question and goes, "Oh, shit lips," and I just had a bit of a chuckle, and I thought that's one I'm committing to memory, because that is a ripper.
Yeah, it stems from about 10-15 years ago. The boys noticed I lacking an upper lip, so it went to no lips, and then it went to the wispy thin lips of a cat, so it went to cat lips, and now stuck with shit lips, unfortunately.
And who's to blame for that, Laz? Was it Shannon Henwood?
It's Shannon Henwood and Ryan Pearson.
There
So
you go.
yeah, those two
footballers at Hampton Park.
have really stitched me up there. So
You know, we should get people to write in their best nicknames, or get in contact with you, Will, because I reckon there's probably some corkers out there. There'd be a good segment just for nicknames throughout leagues.
We mentioned Putrid, Shawnee Winsor last week.
That's a great one as well.
it is good too, because I get to ask Shawnee about how that came about. So some very funny stories.
Yeah, we couldn't mention it on air. Will wanted to know more about it, but I said no, we'll hold it off.
Maybe you could tell me off air. I'm
we
quite
can do that.
interested. Yeah.
All right, boys, let's crack into this one, because we have got a good show ahead of us. But first of all, we've got to talk about Blackrock and what they're doing at the moment. Who better to ask than Shitlips himself, mate? Hampton Park, not Blackrock. He smashed Blackrock. Hampton Park doing it nicely, mate. Your club, it's all coming together at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going okay at the moment. We had a pretty tough run early on against Blackrock. The first time we played them, at half time we were down by, I think it was 5 goals. We just weren't playing the brand of footy that we like to play. So we made a point this week to really come out in the first quarter. I think we kicked 7 goals and set the tone early there. So it was probably the last 2 weeks against Endeavour Hills and Blackrock have probably been our best performances, which is good going into the bye. So a week off to recharge, and then attack the second half of the season.
It comes at the right time, doesn't it? The break. It's
Queen's
windy
birthday break.
and wet out there.
It's terrible.
You're going away this weekend. The coach is giving you the time off. Is this what's happening?
Yeah, Justin Hill, our coach, was good enough to give us the week off training. The seniors anyway, the twos,
Bad luck, boys.
lost their chance to have the week off. They went down to Blackrock. We stole their players, and then the senior group get the week off, which is really good.
Before I hand it over to Will to ask the next question, you were concerned a little bit about Blackrock, Jacko, last week on the show. You had Buddy Spon on, who is a tremendous young man from the States. He was impressive, as it says.
He played very well, yeah.
Talk to us a bit, because you were genuinely concerned.
Definitely concerned, as Laz said. They really jumped us in that first time we played them, 5-goal lead. Unfortunately for them, I was speaking to a few of their committee members after the game. They had 6 of their probably best 8 players out, which didn't help them. So they were probably lacking a bit of depth. And we really put the foot down. It was a really good performance from us. We didn't want to lose, and we didn't want to train this week, so it was a bit more of an incentive to really put one in. We had our cocktail night Saturday night. Always wanted to go there with the 4 points in the bag. So a good win, and 8 and zip at the bye. Just quickly, on nicknames, Aaron Thornton. Bit of a backstory the other week. He's a bit older, played a really good game at the twos. He goes, "Oh, boys, I'm getting old, but I'm like Tom Brady. I can play forever."
He did.
Yeah, he did.
And now you can imagine that was fine of the week, and now we call him Tommy or Braids or the Goat.
Yeah.
And it's not, and he hates it. So you know when you hate a nickname, it's going to
It's
stay.
the worst thing you can do.
Yeah, so I know he'll be watching. Good on you, Tommy. He had a good game.
Well, I've tried everything on Big Will over here. I've tried everything. Fat Boy, the whole lot. He loves it.
Oh, he's heard it before.
That's
I'm
it.
sure.
You just accept it and they move on, don't they?
There's nothing I've heard before. That's for sure. But, look, we've been pumping this man up. Obviously, he's got one of the all-time great nicknames, but probably selling him short a little bit because our man Shitlips, he's been in tremendous form. You happy with the way you're tracking personally?
Going okay, but the position I play in space on the wing, I'm reliant on a lot of players in the middle to kind of get that ball out to me. So we're going very well, and it's very handy having Peter Dye and Nathan Carver up forward that you can kind of kick along to two strong forwards, and of course having the key backs. I think you guys have spoken about our spine previously. Having the two jackos down there certainly helps. You know that they're going to, or at least break even on every contest, so it gives you a lot of confidence out on the wing, which is good.
Where's your improvement going to come from, Shitlips? Obviously dominating in the moment score-wise against teams. You're always looking to get better. I know doubt coach says, right, we're going to do this better, we're going to do that. Where are you guys looking to improve?
Even on the weekend, we had probably a 15-minute patch where we all kind of zoned off and probably got a bit ahead of ourselves.
Yep.
So at half-time, we just addressed that very quickly. But I think we've got a good, we've got a good confidence about ourselves at the moment without getting too far ahead of ourselves, and we know that if we play our best football, we're going to be tough to beat. So it's looking internally and just making sure we've got the right attitude each and every week. Obviously each club in the competition has their good players which you've got to look after, look out for, but we believe that if we do all the right things and have the right attitude, we're going to be really, really tough to beat. So
got a new coach on board this year. I know that Jacko's got a couple of ripping questions he wants to throw your way, but and I'm looking forward to hearing them too. But you got a new coach for season 2019, Justin Hill. How's he been? Have you found the transition into with him at the helm?
yeah, I've known Juzzy for probably 10, 15 years. We're close mates as well, so it's been a pretty easy transition for me. He's a really good guy. All the guys respect him from what he's done in his football. He's a pretty upfront kind of guy. He'll tell it as it is, which we all respect.
Yep.
It's all going well.
Yeah, brilliant.
He hasn't lost a game either, as he keeps reminding us.
Yeah, he
Happy
likes to
nights.
mention that.
He likes leading in with back in my day. I used to do this. I used to do that.
He's
All the
big
good
on that.
coaches do that. All the good coaches do it.
Now, lads, you mentioned Juzzy, obviously one of your former teammates at Doveton. There's a good Doveton connection to Hampton Park. Can you name a few guys that you've sort of played with that sort of drew you to come across?
So Shannon Henwood obviously played last year. He's a very close friend of mine.
Yep.
So I've known Shannon Pearso. Well, I've started with them probably 10, 15 years ago playing football, and probably 20 kilos for each of them ago. They've enjoyed themselves over the last 5 years. They're slowing down and getting
They still find the ball.
They
though,
do.
to
That's
credit.
what
They're
they
still
hear.
handy. Very handy.
And then people like Peter Dye as well. Michael Henry, who played last year, didn't play this
Do you
year.
reckon he's a chance, Pickles, to come out of retirement?
I think he's pretty keen, but I've heard a whisper that his wife has hit his boots on the top shelf at home and he can't quite reach them now. So maybe one day, if we can find the step, he might be half a chance.
Yeah, Pickles. Great football, but there's not much of him.
No, I think he's starting to get itchy feet though, so we'll
I'm
see.
not surprised with all his mates playing Juzzy as coach. We're 8-0. We're going well. Another quick question. Actually, your partner is Shane Mumford's sister. That's right?
That's
How
correct.
is the big fella going?
He's going well. He's just had his tooth replaced after the weekend. He had found half of his tooth in his mouth guard, so he
did
just sent
see
me a
that.
beautiful smile before it's been replaced.
Suits him.
And he broke Mark Murphy's ribs the other week. Geez, he's pretty
plays-
hard.
he
He
plays
plays it
hard.
hard. I wouldn't get in his way if he was on the...
No, we've had a couple of wrestles before.
How'd you go?
Yeah, not well.
Not well.
You gotta
Not
love
one.
Mummy though. Like he plays AFL football like he would play suburban.
Yeah,
football.
it's brilliant.
Oh, yeah.
And
Translate
loves a
always
beer.
for-
He's a
Yeah.
man's man.
It's sliding very well at Hampton Park, I would have thought, just sticking in the
100%.
road.
He would fit in perfectly down there.
Like a glove.
huge.
I love how you talk about your teammates being 20 kilos overweight but can still get the footy.
Yeah,
That's
unfortunately
one of
they
the
can.
Great sayings, you know, they used to always say every year, we've drafted this guy who's like 6'2", can run a 400 in this time, he can bench press this.
It's so
We'd
true.
always say,
Can't get
can he find it?
Yeah, exactly.
So true.
Or more importantly, how do they go at the aftermatch? 'Cause
Yes, that's also big.
That's
Correct.
Socially, that's huge.
Yeah, and I know that Hampton Park, now that's a footy club that does it properly. You had your cocktail night.
Yes, very good.
How'd it go?
Swimmingly. No, it went really well.
The DJ got sent to the footy club, so you can blame Luke O'Brien for that. So the DJ was late, but other than that, it went well.
Yeah, no, it's good. Very important.
That was at the
Sandhurst Golf Club, good venue. Yeah, very good venue.
Ziggy was pumping that up, and it's a nice venue, I believe.
It is
very
good.
nice.
Beautiful there.
Any blokes get sloppy and make fools of themselves at such a nice
I think
venue?
it's
'Cause I know
easy
you two are
to
very
say the ones that probably weren't, I would say.
He's keeping it tight-lipped.
The only disappointing thing, they shut the bar at 11:30, Will, but that's just when we just start getting going.
Shuts the bar at
11:30.
All right, let's keep it above.
Moving along.
You've got to play hard, you've got to party hard.
Exactly.
Exactly
Talk
right.
about play hard. Blackrock versus Hampton is the game we're talking about. Hampton Park 2017-137 defeat. Blackrock 6-5-41. Some really good players there, Carver and Thorne with Ryan Pearson. We've talked enough about that. Let's move on to the next game, boys. That was played between Endeavour Hills and Clayton. Endeavour Hills 9-10-64 defeat Clayton 7-7-49. Now we build this game. It was going to be a cracking game because both teams sitting around about the same place. Clayton lifting a little bit over the last, I don't know, 5, 6, probably even 10 weeks if you count last year's as well. They've been down for a long time.
Yep.
They're coming up. Endeavour Hills just can't quite crack it, but they've got the win here.
Yeah, they have. It was a win full of heart for Endeavour Hills. I mean, they finished the game with none on the bench. It was a really, really gutsy performance. Great to see their skipper back in the fold, Nate Strong.
Yep.
Had a knock to the head a few weeks ago. Took him a couple of weeks to recover, but great to see him back out in the side. They play a really hard brand of footy, the Clayton boys, don't they?
Yeah, they're very physical, and then especially on that small ground, as me and lads know, we played there round 2, and there's no easy kick in Endeavour Hills. There's guys on top of you all game. Great to see Strong back, as you said. Well, that was Anzac Day, he got knocked out, so that's a fair while away. So good to see him back, and a good win in Endeavour Hills. But Clayton are coming, and they'll be prominent in the final series. What are your thoughts on that, lads?
Yeah, we played them round 1, and we had a pretty comfortable win there. I actually didn't play them last time, but just looking at the score and what the guys say, they've definitely improved. I know they had a few out in round 1. So yeah, they're definitely coming into contention now. It's going to make things interesting. Unfortunately for us, you just can't seem to take the foot off the pedal. There is enough teams there to do some damage and can hurt you. So they're improving every game, which is good for them. And especially after the seasons that they've had the past couple, it's good to see them getting a few wins on the board too and being competitive.
Well done to both teams. Endeavour Hills getting the win there. Let's move on to Ashwood versus Cerberus. Ashwood 22-10-142. They defeat Cerberus 7-9-51. Mitch Rossborough kicked 7 goals and Aaron Maroney with 5 goals there. Will.
Yeah, another tough day at the office for the Cerberus boys, but we had Mick Rossborough on the show a couple of weeks ago, and since then his boy's been in great form. Another 7 snaggeroonies on the weekend.
GameFace is the difference.
Absolutely, and I'm looking forward to seeing Laz over here get 40 touches in the first half when he next takes the field.
Yeah, no problem, easy.
No, that's just what we do to people here.
Good win for Ashwood there, Will. They had to do that, and they did that, and they're back into 4th position. They're really pushing for that spot. Obviously, Blackrock have dropped to 5th now, and it's probably going to be those two that are, fight out for that last spot, I believe, because the top 3 I think is pretty settled. I think everyone would agree with that. Good win for Ashwood. They enjoy the break. I know Mick said they had a lot of injuries, so I think a lot of teams do. The week off has come at a good time, and as I said, they'll be right around the mark.
And speaking of Ashwood, I think we might throw to our mid-season report card, Robbo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I like what you say there, Jacko. You had to win that, and they did win that. That's something where you're probably at the moment with you boys. You're smashing teams every week, but you're probably going to feel that a lot. We're supposed to win this game.
Yeah.
It's how you deal with it.
Exactly.
It's all above the head.
Spot on.
Above the shoulders, in the head. Let's move on to that mid-season report card. You guys have dissected every club. We're halfway there. I want you to rate them A through to F. Ashwood, Blackrock, Cerberus, Clayton, Endeavour Hills, Hampton Park. Go for your life, Wilbur.
Yeah, Ashwood, first cab off the rank, sitting 4th, 3 and 5. I've probably ranked them A C, is that a fair assessment for you? Pass mark?
I reckon that's fair. They haven't beaten anyone above them yet, so that's where they'll be looking in the second half of the year to claim a scalp. But they're in the finals hunt, so Mick will be happy with that. I think a C is pretty fair. Yeah.
The games that they're winning well, as we saw on the weekend. They're doing just what needs to be done, mates.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. They're. I think they will get a scalp. Hopefully, it's not us before the end of the year. But as you said, you've got to come to play every week. And if a team comes with the wrong attitude, they're definitely going to pick them off. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in the second half of the year.
Absolutely. Blackrock, 3 and 5 of a C minus probably for mine. I think Jacko, they've been thereabouts in a couple of games, but I think the last couple of weeks, a few injuries starting to creep in, probably dropping off the pace a little bit. You were speaking to your mate Lockie Dobson the other day. He's had some shoulder issues.
Yeah,
how's he tracking with all that?
Yeah, the shoulders are looking good for Lockie. He's had too many dislocations in the last year, so I think he might be done for the year. Ryan Hanley didn't play on the weekend. They were 2 and zip Blackrock, so to drop to 3 and 5. It's pretty disappointing. C minus, but they're still in the hunt. They're still equal 4th percentage out. Get a few guys back, and again they can claim a scalp in the second half of the year. But yeah, injuries and depth is a big thing for them.
They've still got some great players at the club. Obviously, we spoke of Buddy Spawn, who was on the show yesterday. He's tremendous, and Dan Gyrey as well. Daniel Kick down back, so they've got some talent there.
They do, yeah. They've got enough there. If they can, everyone get everyone on the same page, they'll finish off well. Cerberus
sitting in 6th position. D minus, still looking for their first win. It's been a tough old season, but as you said, 6 sounds a little bit better than last. So we'll run with 6 for now.
See, I wish Carlton was 6.
Yeah.
Even if it means bottom.
Your boys haven't.
Yeah, Bolts would love that too. But no, it's been a tough year for the Navy boys. Obviously, coming off a premiership last year, they probably didn't realise how many players they were going to lose from that grand final. And yeah, it's been a tough year. I hope they can get a scalp. It'd be great for them. But yeah, 0 and 8 is probably not where they wanted to be. It's probably a bit of a gap between 4th and 3rd division, and that's probably proven with the way they're going.
Must be difficult with the turnover of players they have, from what I understand anyway, from week to week. If you can't gel as a team, it puts you behind the 8 ball from the start. So they've just got to stick at it. I remember you guys saying a few weeks back that they're one of the hardest teams at the ball. And we found that definitely. So, well, the other guys did. I didn't. When you're underneath a car in the car park, it's hard for them to get you. So, but yeah, they'll be right if they just stick at it.
All right, rip through this, boys. We're running fast out of time.
Right, Clayton, they're sitting 3rd, 4 and 4. I've got them as a B plus because look, from where they've come from to where they are now, they're certainly really impressing me at the moment, lads.
Yeah, they're going to improve too. So I think that B plus might even turn into an A by the end of the year. Come finals. If they can sneak into that double chance spot, who knows? But should we finish on top and Endeavour Hills 2nd, we want to get straight through the grand final. You didn't want to play them in a prelim, I
definitely
think.
Don't want to play Clayton. They're going well. Huge for their club. There's a good buzz around there. Winning's good, and 4 and 4, they definitely take that at the bye. Absolutely.
100%. Endeavour Hills, they're 2nd. I've got them as a B plus. Really, I'd love to have them as an A, but unfortunately they've got quite a few blokes out injured. They're not playing their best footy as a result of not having some of their stars in their lineup. But come the back end of the year, I reckon they'll be right up there and giving you guys a fair run for your money.
Yeah, injuries have taken their toll there. From where we played the first time to the second time, there was a big difference. So I'm sure they're going to improve if they can get everyone on the track.
Absolutely.
100%, yeah, exactly right. They're our biggest threat, obviously. They beat us in a prelim last year, and they're going to be there again. I back them to get the double chance, and come finals, they'll be right amongst it. They're a very good club.
They're a very, very good club and a very good side, and they'll do a fair bit of damage back after the year. Hampton Park, A+, that's a no-brainer. Yet to lose, sitting on top of the ladder, 2-game break to Endeavour Hills. You blokes are flying.
Leave it at that, I think.
Yeah, we can't complain. We can't complain.
Nice, slick, intuitive, informative. That's my report card for you boys on the mid-season report card to the other teams. Well done. Let's move on to a report card for the team of the week, Division 3. It was round 8, was it?
Yeah.
Round 8?
Yeah, it was round 8.
Going past.
Where's half the season?
I know. Let's go through this, boys, because you've picked them out, the best players from the round.
Alrighty, so starting from the back pocket, Ben Holland been in great form for Endeavour Hills. Jackson Philpin retains his spot at at the fullback. Bloody hell, I've lost my ability to speak tonight. Fair dinkum. And Darcy Kingsbury in the pocket, he's been in good form for the Clays.
Great form, Darcy Kingsbury. I'll just quickly mention Jackson Philpin, over 100 senior games at Hampton Park, kicking his first goal for the club on the weekend.
Oh,
Good on
We
you.
swung him forward and he got 2. And we
Yeah,
got
he
a
banged
right
a
around. So good move from the coach. Halfback Ben Carter in Endeavour Hills, Nathan Reid in Endeavour Hills, Darcy O'Brien, Blackrock played well for the Jets on the weekend.
And in the centre line, we've got Michael Lassick, our man.
Shitlibs.
Shitlibs.
It's very kind. I think it's a bit of a charity work for the guests, so thank you for that,
I must
mate.
admit, every single week these boys put the guest on the show.
Exactly right.
He deserved it, Robbo. He was
Yeah,
in the
skull.
best and he played well. So
That's only because we get the most elite talent.
Very good. Good follow up.
He deserves it. Move on.
Phil Nanfra in the guts, and Chris Morrison on the other wing. He's been in sensational form. He's basically a lock.
yeah, he'll win the best and fairest at Clayton. He's having a great season. Half forward, Aaron Moroney. Nathan Carver, Hampton Park, back in form, kicked 5 in the weekend, and Sean Richards from Endeavour Hills.
And the full forward line, we've got Aaron Thornton,
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
How good am I?
We've got Big Jam in the forward pocket. We've got Mitchell Rossborough, kicked 7 on the weekend, again being in good form. And Cam Williamson retains his spot, got a couple of cheeky goals there on the weekend as well.
He's very important for our side, Cam Williamson, terrific player. Ruck, Michael Buddy Spawn, Pat Carroll, the reigning League BNF winner, and Ryan Pearson, who's having a great season for the Redbacks.
And just on the interchange here, we've got Nick Gay from Endeavour Hills, Matt Gray from Cerberus, Brad Mean from Blackrock, and Benny Graham, the former Geelong, no, not the former Geelong captain, but Benny Graham playing some good footy for Endeavour Hills there.
Well done, boys. That was the team of the week. No games this weekend. It's Queen's birthday, as the boys said earlier on in the show. But they will be back the week later. I suppose I'm not going to give you the day or the date. Let's just move straight into it. It's Clayton versus Cerberus. 3rd place, 6th, the Clays at home. I'm going to get the tips from all of you. So go 1, 2, 3, go for it, boys.
Clayton too strong for Cerberus, I think. Keep it nice and short.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the case.
Clayton to win that one, yep.
No, a couple of the blokes on the panel are going to go with this next one. Hampton Park versus Ashwood. Ashwood in some good form at the moment. It'll be a good game, Will.
They'll be a good test for Hampton Park. I think Hampton Park are obviously in good form, but Ashwood will make them earn it.
Yeah, I'd like to think we get across the line. Shout out to Mitch Woolgar, who always saves his best for Ashwood. He's got best ons every time we play him, so he'll no doubt turn it on. He might be a guest in a couple of weeks.
Good. You're going to go with that?
Yeah, we'll win that game.
Absolutely. All right. The Hills will take on the Rock. I'm just, making up my own nicknames now.
The Hills and the Rockers.
The Hills and the Rockers. Endeavour Hills are in good form. Blackrock suffering a big defeat. Will they bounce back, Will?
Unfortunately not, I don't think. The buyers come at a good time, I think, for Endeavour Hills. Hopefully they can get a couple of players back, lads, and if they do that, they'll be really hard to beat the back half of the year. And they'll be too good for Blackrock here.
I think they'll be too good as well. They've got a lot of quality there and more to come back in, so they'll probably be too strong.
Endeavour Hills for me there, boys.
So unanimous all
Is there
round.
anything you want to add for the team of the week, lads, just while we're on it?
Just wanted to mention that Fries, he's very impressed that he gets to have a bit of input. He doesn't have to pay for a beer Saturday night. There's a few blokes that get in the ear. Nathan Carver at the top of the list.
You're getting incentivised.
Ash Scott, I'll tell you what, they rush over. How do you think I went? A few of those ones. Shannon Henwood is known to head over straight away. So just make sure someone's
But the
filtering
viewers
his.
were down last week, lads. The viewers are down. Why were the viewers down?
Oh, you might have noticed that there wasn't quite as many tuned in last week. Ryan Pearson gets his whole family together
This is a little
to
bit.
watch.
This is
To
a little
watch.
bit. I don't know about you, Jay.
He didn't have a great game against Endeavour Hills, so he cancelled. He told him it was cancelled for that week. So. Shout out to Vicky and Guy, his parents, who follow it very closely.
Well, they'll be delighted to see it this week.
Of course.
And I do take incentives. If you do want to buy me a beer, I'll get you inside. Absolutely.
Sponsored by John Law's Cash for Comments. A little bit of insider trading going on the GameFace Footy Show for the Division 3 teams. They have been fantastic. You guys have been fantastic. Michael Lazic, thanks very much for joining us, mate. You've been sensational.
Thank you very much for having me, guys. Good fun.
Good
Pleasure.
Keep up the form. You too, Big Jacko down the end
Thanks,
there.
Robbo.
Enjoy your weekends off, boys. We'll have a
Good
week
luck
off too.
Monday too, Robbo.
Yeah,
Melbourne,
absolutely.
the Big Freeze.
Yes.
Always a great course.
Should mention that. Big freeze at the G. If you've got nothing to do on Monday, why don't you get down to the MCG? It'll be a cracking game. It'll be a cracking crowd. We know that people are going to be sliding down into that ice bath. I'm glad it's not me.
Oh, I was hoping you got the call up.
No call from me. I'll be watching, I'll be enjoying. Make sure you buy your MND beanies because that money goes straight to finding a cure. Research for MND. Neil and her doing some fantastic things. These guys did some fantastic things today on the show. We'll see you in a couple of weeks when we Get back together, talk about everything to do with the SMJ. I don't think Southern Football Netball League GameFace. It's been a long night. Bye.
Get your game face on.